Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of Magically Cruising, the cruise podcast where we share our personal cruise tips and reviews to help you make the most out of your next sailing. My name is Kieran. I'm an independent travel agent specializing in all things cruise, Disney, North America, and I'm joined by my fellow co-host.
And I'm Sarah. I never have a set intro like Kieran. I listen with envy every time we video. I am from Cruising with Kids, where I offer cruise tips, tricks and history, and if you want cruise reviews and real cruise experiences, mini travellers.
Brilliant. And today, Sarah, we thought we'd have a bit of a chat because it's not long come out, but Royal Caribbean have announced their deployment for 2027. And since we kind of are an unofficial Royal Caribbean kind of fan podcast, it would be amiss for us to not kind of talk about what the deployment is and what we're excited for as well, of what's coming to Europe for 2027. Obviously, we do get American listeners, so I think if you are interested in coming across to Europe, you can hear from Europeans as we kind of are adjacent anyway now, about kind of what we think on kind of the ships that Royal Caribbean is sending to Europe and what we're personally looking forward to ourselves as well in 2027.
Yes, because it's all very exciting and I've booked two. So I would book more if I could, but I can't. But yeah, it's I feel like we're really lucky this year, and it's an exciting year to be over here with the Royal Caribbean sailings.
Should we start? Because even though normally I like to kind of talk about ex-UK or sailings from the UK because that's our bread and butter market, I think let's talk about the headline because we're both very excited by this ship. I'm already booked on this ship in 2026, but she's coming back for 2027. So if people didn't see the announcement, Legend of the Seas is going to be sailing the whole season. So we're not getting an Oasis class ship in 2027. We're getting an Icon class ship for the whole season. So I'm so excited by this.
Yes, we're getting Legend of the Seas. I mean, I wish I could have booked it for the next year, but I've booked mine for 2027. But I missed the boat really with planning and logistics. But yeah, it's booked for 2027, and I just can't believe we're getting it for 2 seasons. I was so upset when I didn't book it, and then I couldn't. That I'm so glad that I'm going on it the year after. It's so exciting to be getting a new ship. I think since independence we've not had a new ship.
Yeah, well, this is like we've been really lucky, and we were talking about it. I was actually watching some clips of our last episode. We were talking about, I forgot what. We were talking about how lucky we've been with Royal Caribbean, and they've sent over either kind of, we had obviously Wonder when she launched, but that was a technicality. She wasn't meant to be sailing from the Europe, but we kind of had Wonder, and then we had like Oasis when she went through her renovation, Allure when she went through her renovation as well. So we've been really lucky to kind of get, the latest ships that have been either renovated or they've kind of by accident ended up sailing for the first season from Europe. I think Odyssey as well has obviously debuted in Europe as well. So we've been quite lucky in that regard. But they've never really sent over kind of such an iconic ship. And I know the Icon class, is so new. This is literally the 3rd Icon class ship. It's such a new class of ship. And for them to kind of commit to put in an Icon class ship in Europe for the half of the season was a shock anyway. But to do a whole season as well, I think it says a lot about kind of how much Royal Caribbean and how much that ship is loved, at least anyway, sailing kind of that Barcelona Mediterranean route as well. So I think it's great, and I'm so excited. And yes, I have also booked again for 2027 as well. So,
but that's meant to be a secret.
Are we announcing it or not?
Well, I think you better tell your husband first.
Yeah, he doesn't listen to the podcast anyway, so he won't know about this. And if he does, then Phil, congratulations.
Surprise!
You're double dipping.
And you go with me. I forgot about that we did get Odyssey and Wonder, but I think that was at a time when we were coming through the pandemic, and cruise wasn't as exciting. It was because we couldn't wait to get back. We were both on with our face masks, but it had that trepidation to it, and you didn't have 100%. that I did Odyssey that year, but this feels like mega exciting because it's just, we're not in that stage of fear, and it's like something new's come, and it's just, I don't know, it feels a bit different to me, but maybe.
Oh, 100%. No, I think it was overlooked by COVID, wasn't it? The bigger conversation was, is it safe to cruise, rather than, oh my God, we've got this new exciting ship type of thing. And there was still a lot of uncertainty, a lot of processes, protocols. There was a lot of fear as well of, I cruised pretty much as soon as you could, and you still couldn't get away from the fact of you were worried of, could this be the ship I'm going to get COVID on? And is that going to change my life type of thing? So, you did have all of that overshadowing it. And I think that overlooked the marketing of the newest, the latest, the greatest type of thing. But I also think as well, you can't deny the fact that Legend / the Icon class is just so incredible. It's a whole other level of like is not just a new ship, it's a whole new class of ship, a whole new way of experience. And it's more than the evolution of the Oasis class. I think it is just a complete
Yeah.
turning cruise on its head and bringing a whole new way of cruise into the
And it's
oceans.
stuff like, I can't wait to see the Pearl. I mean, what is that like? And that
Mm,
bar behind the Pearl.
mm.
And the window, the champagne window. I know it's only a small thing, but just to go to a window and get fizz, it's
Yeah.
pathetic, isn't it? Of all the things on the ship, I'm excited about. And the cocktail with the bubble. I really want to have the cocktail with the bubble. There's just so much to be excited, like you say, that's new and revolutionary that we've not seen before. And that's what's exciting. But then we've also got other exciting ships as well. So it's not just Legend.
No, that's the thing. So Legend's the headline, I think, and I think Royal are leading with kind of Legend is coming to Europe. I think that's the headline. The next one, and this one didn't go down very well in certain Facebook groups, and I think it's unfair, to be honest. So do you want to talk about the next one, because you've been on board the next one?
So I think we're talking about Mariner, which if you're watching on video is behind me. And oh my God, I loved it. I loved Mariner. It's just such a beautiful ship. And yeah, she's an old girl. I think she might be 23 years old now.
Yeah.
She's getting on a bit. But she was renovated. Do you know the exact date?
No, I don't. But it was a few years. It was about a year or two before you went on, wasn't it? But it's either just before COVID or post-COVID renovation.
I'd say I write about Mariner a lot. I use a lot of pictures of Mariner because I absolutely fell in love with her.
Yeah.
I liked her more than Navigator, much more than Navigator. And I think a really good thing, I think what people do is go, oh, that's an old ship. And do you know what my biggest tip for knowing if a ship's good? Give it a quick Google and look at the picture. And if it's been renovated, the back looks like this.
Yeah.
And that's what tells you what sort of ship you're getting. So there is it, I can't remember the name of it. It starts with a B.
Brilliance?
Brilliance, right. So you Google Brilliance, it looks like an old Royal Caribbean ship. It's got the old lagoon type adult pool. But as soon as you Google one of these ships, you can see the back of it and you can see it's done up. Yeah, so you can see that. And I think people just automatically thought old ship. Now, there are stuff like the balconies, you've got like a bit of rust on the edge.
Yeah.
It's nothing. It's just a being at sea thing. But the inside of a ship, like you've got all the slides, you've got the bamboo lounge, which is like an older version of the tiki bar. It's just pesky parrot. That's
pesky parrot.
It's the bamboo lounge. It's the original version
bar,
of that,
isn't it?
Yeah, and I prefer that. I prefer the decor in that one. There's all those things on it. So for me, the reason we chose it, my goddaughter's autistic. She's an adult, and we didn't know whether she'd be overwhelmed by it. So I thought actually a smaller ship has a lot of the stuff that the bigger ships have got on, but it's smaller and it is less crowded. It's definitely less crowded. And our friends fell in love with it so much that we have booked Odyssey for next year. So it's a really good introduction if you're a UK family and you don't want to fly. It's a brilliant ship for kids, for families, because you've got so much to do. You've got your flow rider. You've got a little play area for kiddies. You've got the pool, the solarium. It's a great ship. I just can't see why people would be upset. It's brilliant.
The negativity towards it really did shock me. And I've had a customer of my own as well who she did ex-UK. It's an industry term. Ex-UK means sailing from the UK. So she did Liberty. Is it Liberty? Independence, this year. So she did Independence this year. Loved it. Never sailed before. Never done Royal before. She was blown away by it. So she had no benchmark to kind of base on like whether or not she was interested or not. And then when the announcement came out, she was like, oh yeah, I'm definitely keen, I'm interested. But then when it was announced that it was Mariner, she messaged me back saying like, oh yeah, no, the family aren't looking forward to it. And I was like, well, why not? Like, she's a great ship. She's got all the features, she's just a little bit smaller than the ship you've been on, but she's got most of the same features type of thing.
More or less the same.
Yeah. But it was because the Facebook groups, like literally there's a big in the UK, there's a big Independence of the Seas Facebook group. So this group has kind of become the go-to place for all the people who booked onto the ship to go. And obviously then with Liberty coming next year as well, they're all in that group. So when that announcement came out then, the admin of that group, and I've seen the admin on various pages as well, having a moan about the fact that Mariner's coming back. I think that set the tone for a lot of kind of maybe not hardcore Royal fans or not long-term Royal fans. And I think it set a lot of the tone for kind of a lot of people online who are a bit like, oh, it's an old ship. I'm not very happy that this old ship's coming back. And it's like, but she's a well-loved ship. There's just change the perspective of it. It's not that it's old. It's a well-loved ship. She's been sailing for years successfully for a reason.
And the Americans love her. I'm sure, anyone American that's here, but when I'm in the group for the Mariner, and people love her.
Yeah.
And I will be controversial and say I would rather go on a 22-year-old Royal Caribbean Mariner of the Seas than go on a 5-year-old MSC Virtuoso at Southampton. I would choose Mariner every time. I loved it. I loved the staff, phenomenal. I mean, my friend, when she went on, the first day she come out and she went, something really odd's happened. I said, what? She went, the cabin steward knew my name. I was like, that's normal. That's normal.
Yeah.
That's what the staff are like on Royal Caribbean. And then in the bars and in the restaurants, I'd walk in and Niram, our waiter, would like, hi, Ashley. And he got that she was autistic. And she'd like, don't talk to me. And by the end of the holiday, he had her eating out of his hands. He was amazing with her. And she said, the feeling that the staff on Royal Caribbean, they made me feel welcome. They made me feel comfortable because Trees won't mind me saying, Ashley will kill me, but she's loud. Love you, Ashley. But Trees have felt comfortable on holiday, and she said it's, people around were, made a fuss of her and made her feel welcome. And it's just, there's no amount of money can buy that. And I just think people will be really pleasantly surprised.
And you've kind of hit the nail on the head, and I didn't really want to talk about it because it's an opinion rather than a fact, but I do think there's a lot of people are looking at MSC, for example, and going and to be fair, it doesn't apply because of 2027 they're sending an old ship anyway. But there's this new shiny ship syndrome that people have, and I'm guilty. I am so guilty of new shiny ship syndrome. And I think people kind of go well, we had Anthem. Why have we downgraded from Anthem to, Indie, which was loved previously? Before, people loved Indie, and people were saying, bring Indie back, and then they brought it back. People well, why is there an old ship? And I'm like, you all asked for it to come back. And now they're bringing back another well-loved ship that's been renovated, looked after, and has great experiences. There's a lot of well, it's not a new ship. Why not? And it's because that's what suits the UK market at the end of the day. The UK market, the weather is very different, and the type of crowd that come on board, we need more indoor spaces. So there's no way. And there's also the ports that these ships go to from Europe. You're never going to get an Oasis class. I know one came to Southampton. I can't remember which one it was. Wasn't it Oasis came to Southampton when she launched to kind of showcase it to the industry while she was being finished? But she's not going to sail because the ports that you can get to from Northern Europe can't handle an Oasis class ship on a regular basis. So we're never going to get it.
The boardwalk when it's raining. It's too slippery.
And there's that as well. The type of weather we get is too undetermined for a ship like an Oasis or an Icon class. So that was never going to be on the cards anyway. You need ships that have indoor spaces because the weather can change on a dime in kind of Northern Europe, Norwegian fjords and places like that as well.
And I don't know many of the ships that have got the bamboo lounge. And honestly, just you know what I'm like for colour. I love colour and pretty, and it's just beautiful. It's just phenomenal, and they've got all different cocktails. And no, honestly, I don't think anybody will be disappointed with her. I think she's magnificent. You've got Playmakers. It is on the promenade. So, and it's just, I loved the promenade on there. It was brilliant. It was fab. Yeah. Really good nightlife. Really good atmosphere. Schooners Bar. It's got everything that. It was brilliant.
I think I'm going to wait and see what happens because there's a lot between now and then, but I may book one of the short sailings, one of the 4 or 5 night sailings that are going out because she's doing a really nice mix as well. Again, she's doing the Norwegian fjord. She's going on and doing a couple of short sailings to Northern Europe. She's doing the Spain and France route, So again, there's nothing new in the itineraries. And again, that was something else people were complaining about. They wanted the 14 nights to come back. I don't think Royal are going to be doing a 14-night down to the Med from the UK anytime soon because you have ships based in the Med. It just doesn't make sense. I know some people don't want to do fly cruise, but I'm very passionate, very, very vocal about it. If you want to sail the Med, fly to the Med and start in the Med. It's just a waste of time doing 3-4 days sailing down to the Med from the UK type of thing. So, and it just doesn't work with what Royal are doing themselves with the other ships in Europe sailing in the Med anyway.
And you know my opinion on the same old cruise port. There's no such thing. There is no such thing.
Do you get what I mean? And these are really well-loved ports. We're talking about Copenhagen, you got Oslo, you got Bruges, and I know everyone says Bruges type of thing, but it's a lovely port type of thing. I really enjoyed the time. I've been there a couple of times. You got Seville, A Corunna. These are great ports. They're really well-loved, and there's lots of things to explore and do. You can never tire of these ports, but also you're going there on an incredible ship. It's not as if you're just going to those ports.
Is it stopping at Bilbao? I loved Bilbao.
It's not on this list. That's not to say that it's not, because this is a key ports list rather than a full breakdown. but they're the key headline ports, so possibly. I don't know as a fact, but I do know she's doing 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 sailings. So again, there's no long, like 10 nights. The longest is the 9 nights, and I'm pretty sure the 9 night is the one that goes to Spain and France. I think Porto is on the 9. Don't quote me, I can't remember. But she's doing some nice kind of like mix of itineraries, more keeping northern Spain and France, and obviously Norwegian fjords in there as well.
Yeah, so lovely itineraries then as well.
Yeah, I think so. I think they're great. I think they're headline ports. They're not ports you can like go, oh, it's a filler port. They're like headline ports.
And the thing is, I mean, with things like you can do cruise excursions, but then things like Get Your Guide now, I mean, you search and there's stuff you can do in all these ports. I mean, when we were in Lisbon, we did so much.
Yeah.
And so many, tours. We did a food tour, we did a tuk-tuk tour. There's so much you can do that I just think you can see something different every time you go to a port.
Do you get what I mean? This is the thing. Like this, I do understand. I get the concern about it's another old ship coming back to the UK. Why are we getting the new shiny thing? Maybe when the next class of ship comes out, we may be lucky and one of those ships will come to the UK permanently. But there are only so many ships that fit into the UK and the Northern European ports, so it makes sense it was going to be either this class. I don't think we're going to see a quantum class back in the UK for a while now, if for any time soon type of thing. Those ships are purposely built for kind of the Asian market and the Alaska market. So I think we were lucky to have Anthem while we had her, but I don't never say never, but I just don't think we're going to see a quantum class back in the UK.
We've got Odyssey, haven't we? But when I sailed on Mariner, I played to fly to the Caribbean to fly on her. I was that confident I'd love her.
Yeah,
so
you did, didn't you?
Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah.
But yeah, and we've got Odyssey back.
I was going to say this next.
Did she go anywhere? She's been there. Has she been in this year, or was she not?
No, she's there this year. She's obviously there next year because you're going on in the next year.
Mm-hmm.
And she's back again for 2027. So she's doing the same. I guess it's like a copy and paste job on Odyssey this season. We were chatting about it beforehand, one me of like, I don't get asked a lot about this ship, and I don't know why, because she is doing kind of those kind of iconic ports. She's going like to Mykonos, she's doing Santorini, she's doing Turkey. So these are really well-loved ports for Brits. And if you book her early enough, and we're going to jump onto her, when should you book? But if you book onto her early enough, you can get some great prices on this ship. But guaranteed, this ship will go up and up and up and up and up in price because she sells well and consistently with Americans more than Europeans. But it's a great ship. And after recently coming back off Spectrum, I have fallen in love with the Quantum Ultra class, and I would love to do this ship.
Well, our cruise has nearly doubled since we bought it. But let me just tell you a story about your friend Ben Bowden, who's you kept name dropping last time. So I've met him once, lovely, lovely man. And I was at a cruise conference. It was one of the Clear conferences. And I was gutted because I'd been booked on Wonder, and then the government changed the school holidays and I had to change it. And we changed to Odyssey. And I was devastated about it because I really wanted to go on Wonder. I'd never been an Oasis class ship. And I'd said to Ben at the conference, I'm really looking forward to the next cruise, but I am a bit disappointed because it was going to be Wonder and now it's Odyssey. And he looked at me and he went, it is not a trading.
It's not.
It is not. Yeah. It's not a trade. It's a great ship. And it is a great ship. And I'm really, really looking forward to going on her again. There's things that it's different. It's just completely different. But there's so much, just the whole sportsplex and the skydiving and everything. I mean, you've just been on one. They're just phenomenal ships.
I think that's what threw me. It's very different to the other Royal Caribbean ships, if you get me. They try to do something a bit different. And there's a lot of rumours out there of, was this class of ship actually meant to be for celebrity? Because of, if you look at kind of the progression between kind of the Quantum class to Edge series, there's a lot of inspiration, kind of 270 to Eden and things like that. There's a lot of theories going out there. North Star, Magic Carpet. There's a lot of theories out there about this was originally celebrities next class and they passed and they went to Royal instead. So I get it. It changes up a lot of kind of Royal Caribbean staples and mixes it up a little bit. Now that I've sailed it and gone more than just spent a day in the English Channel or in the I don't know what the word is, the sea in Southampton, sorry. I really get this ship and I get how she works, and that kind of we talk about it a lot, the Royal Caribbean kind of pacing of where they spread everyone out. I think this ship does a fantastic job of it. And I think the Quantum Ultra, having that bigger pool area, just gives you that little bit more breathing room at the pool area that I was missing when I did my visit on Anthem.
Yeah, I think for me the pool area is the weakness, because I think when on a sea day don't bother.
Yeah, yeah, pretty
but
much.
But then I don't like packed pools. Some
Yeah.
people are in the middle of it and fat belly competition. What's it called?
Yeah, the belly
It's
flop.
not called that, is it? Yeah,
The
that's
fat
it. And I was like, oh, God, this is just like a nightmare. But actually, I've now embraced the belly flop competition. But on a sea day, on a port day, like already I know that I am having one port day on that ship because it's heaven when there's no one on it. But I think that ship is a nighttime ship.
Yeah, it is, definitely. I loved what I will say though
It's
about the pool space.
brilliant.
I get what you're saying. Like, I didn't like the core pool area where that kind of, and normally on a royal ship, that's quite nice because that's a bit spacious and spread out. But what I learned on my time, a bit more time on it, there's actually a lot more space to get in the sun if you're going down the sides, like all down the side of the sports deck.
Yeah.
There's a lot more space if you're not a pool person, and we're not actually pool
Yeah.
people. We don't enjoy sitting at
No.
the pool. And I learned there's a lot more nooks and crannies that you can go to sit in. There's a really nice one outside the entrance to the solarium as well. That's a bit more away from the crowd type of thing. So there are actually a lot more pockets to sit outside rather than by the pool. So it's one of those ships I think you do need to give it a bit of a breathing room to kind of give it a bit of time to unveil itself to you. That's really like poetic, but I do think she's a ship to explore.
But yeah, I think the inside space for me is what
100%.
just wins it. It's just phenomenal. I mean, to be fair, the solarium's amazing, but our boys just moaned they didn't want to go in there, so that sort of closed that avenue of pleasure.
Yeah.
But I wanted to go in the pool in the solarium, and everybody raves about the barman in the solarium in the group. I mean, everybody talks about the barman in there, but just for me at night, you don't see the families. God, there was loads of families when God knows where they were at night. But because it's different because you've got it's almost like a street, isn't it? And
it is the Esplanade.
You've got a road off it almost, and it's just brilliant. And the way the pub is and next to the pizza bar, it's all so well done, and I just loved it at night. It came alive at night, that ship.
That's the bit that I appreciated of just how spread out actually the nightlife is. It felt like you were in different districts type of thing, more so because they're not neighbourhoods. It's not as neighbourhood heavy as the Oasis class. So to kind of go to Vintages and be down that end of the ship, but then you go further on from there and you've obviously got 270, which at night comes alive as well with all the entertainment.
Yeah.
But then you've also got the Esplanade as well then, which like you say then, depends on what class you're on. Spectrum's a bit unique, but like to have like the pub on the Esplanade, but also to have potentially Boleros or Star Moment in the case of Spectrum, to have different lounges as well then along that kind of strip. And that's before you could go to the pool bars late at night and go outside and sit under the North Star type of thing and sit outside. The solarium is open as well. So to have like lots of different bar spaces, actually, that's when I realized, actually, I really like this ship. It's really spread out, and I kind of appreciate that because you can do a bit of a walk and a wander and kind of get different vibes and different atmospheres. And I really, really enjoyed that when I was on board. Schooner bar as well, I forgot. But yeah, the schooner bar as well because it's hidden away on Spectrum at least anyway.
And Playmakers, it's like a whole complex. And I mean, our boys were teens when we went on there last. But Chris is just football obsessed, and everywhere we go in the world revolves around the Burnley matches and checking when they're playing so we can be in a bar to make sure that he watches his team. He's been a devout fan all his life. And it's like something that he makes friendships and with barman, and everywhere he goes, it's people want to talk about football. And this actually for the Mariner as well. The Playmakers bars that they've got in these ships, that British people will love them. It's a great American British fusion of sport, and they're brilliant. I mean, the only place I really didn't like was the bumper cars, but that's because I did get rammed by a 3-year-old. And his dad wouldn't leave me alone. He kept hitting me. I just wanted to drive round.
I didn't get a chance to do them, but I watched everybody else doing them, and I didn't realize how aggressive they get.
It's vicious. It's vicious.
Yeah. It looked fun, but I missed our window before. I got lost on the ship, and I missed our time, so they did it without me, which I was devastated about. But yeah, it looks like a lot of fun. But again, you forget about that, actually. The fact that the ship has bumper cars on board that you can do, like, it's so cool. The ship's incredible.
And the sports court, because that's also a sports court, and our boys would just go down and have a game, meet people down there, like, and they were at an age then where they were like young men, and they would go down and play with all the men on the ship. And then you've got, obviously, you've got the Flow Rider, but then you've got the North Star.
Oh, the I-Fly by Ripcord, or whatever it's called, didn't it, as well? The
And honestly, did you do it?
skydiving simulator.
No. Did you do it?
No.
Did you do it? Right, well, we did it and I was terrified. And he could see in my face I was terrified.
That's why I don't think I'll do it.
And this guy was like Evel Knievel without the bike in this tube. It was like, you're watching it thinking...
somersaults and everything.
It's amazing. And so I went on, Chris and the boys were like really confident they were going to be like James Bond in it. And I went in, I just sat all really quietly through the training and he went to me, you'll be fine. He went, do you do yoga? And he said, yeah. He said, just do your yoga moves.
Really?
Anyway, it turned out I was the best.
Really?
Because I just did a yoga move and stayed in position, and I actually it was brilliant. It was so good. I can't wait to do it again. So I mean, to go on the ship and be able to do all that stuff, and I mean, just like being in the North Star and videoing the ship, and I did it on. It's a brilliant ship.
I fell in love, and I didn't think so because I was really hard on Anthem. I went on Anthem and I was like, it's great. It's not me. I generally come away with I see who it's for, but I don't think it's for me. But spending 4 nights on Spectrum, I'm like, I think I really like the Quantum, especially the Quantum Ultra. I think it just adds a little bit of extra kind of sauce to it that kind of just makes it flow really well. And this particularly as well, and kind of it's related, but the fact that Santorini Royal Beach Club is also opening as well next year. So the fact that, again, we're going back there, and it makes sense why this ship is now back as well for 2027. So to have kind of that beach club experience. And have you read a little bit more about how it's going to operate, how they're going to do the beach club?
Yeah, they're going to take you by ferry, aren't they?
It's really interesting because it's done as an excursion rather than an actual beach day. So as you say, you get the kind of bit of the boat, isn't it, to do a bit of a tour by boat. Then you get dropped off at the beach club. And I believe you get 2-3 hours at the beach club. And then you then leave there and get taken off then to the rest of the island then to kind of go off and explore and everything as well. So it's more of an excursion than a typical kind of pay for a beach pass. Because I think they do 2 sessions. They do a morning session and an afternoon session. And I think that's really interesting, actually. It's really cool because it'd be a shame to go somewhere iconic like Santorini and not get to see Santorini. But it takes the worst part out of Santorini. We've done a whole episode about Santorini, so go back and find that about why I love it, but also why it's a nightmare as well.
As soon as I saw that, I thought, right, so okay, it's going to be easier getting up and down on the cable car.
Yep.
So that's better for the infrastructure.
Yep.
Lots of people are going to be wanting to go to the beach club. And I was like saying to Chris, do we book the beach club? But then you know that I don't like beaches. So that, but then I was like, there'll be no one on the ship because everybody's getting off.
Yeah.
This is going to be amazing. So I really don't know what to do because I really want to go out of curiosity and see what the trip involves. And because they take you to Ia and Fira, don't they? So that's really good. And I think whether it's a Greek tourism thing, but it's like with the Icos resorts because they have so many restaurants and then they have a dine out. And that is a local restaurant. So I wonder if it's something that the Greek tourism do to support local businesses, but also improve tourism. But I think the way it's been implemented is excellent.
Yeah, I think it's great. I'm really excited about it. And I think kudos to Royal, to be honest, for thinking outside of the box because they could have done the generic pay for a beach pass for the day and have your drinks package and just sit here and do nothing. I think it's a really lovely hybrid option because, again, it's not exclusively theirs. They have access to it and it's part of, people who get to stay there, but it is also available to the public as well. And I think that's really cool that it's a regeneration project as well. It's an old beach club that's, unfortunately the owners have had to close up. So it was a great opportunity for Royal to come in and take over with it type of thing and reinvigorate the area, put some money back into it, turn it into this really great way and fixes one of the big problems with Santorini because it is one of my favourite Greek ports. It is a pain in the bum though to do. So I now that I know that this is an option, it would probably sway me to going with Royal over my other cruise lines I usually go with, knowing that they've got this solution for Santorini. That is enough of a pull to kind of fix one of my favourite ports. That's a pain in the bum.
I have looked at it a few times because I am really curious. Really
is it on
curious,
your sailings? I think you're going the beginning of the season, aren't you? So is it available?
It's on our set. Yeah, it was last week. It's on our sailing from May.
I kind of want you to do it for my sake.
I know, but then I also know the ship's going to be dead and that really excites me. So that's that. It's like it's either that or I don't get off at Turkey. Which one am I staying on for?
Yeah.
So I just don't. Let me have a look now. It definitely was on because and it's the not going up the thing, getting the boat. I mean, what I didn't see is how you get back. Do they send you back?
I found it because I was in it and I was having a rummage around and I was like, here we go, right. So it's not cheap. So it's £151.37 for this random sailing. We've had a whole conversation about how the PCP works. But the pre-cruise planner. Sorry, I'm speaking so much industry lingo
Yeah.
on this. So the pre-cruise planner is it could be a different price when you see it, but at the moment I picked a random Odyssey sailing for peak season next year. It's £151 per person for the day. So yeah, so you'll do Oya first, and I do recommend this. So I've got a guide on my website as well about recommending this, where you do the boat rather you dock at Fira, but get the boat to Oya instead. They do a similar route basically. So yeah, they take you to Oya. You get an hour and a half in Oya to enjoy kind of sightseeing there, go shopping and do that type of stuff. They then take you to the beach club, where you get 3.5 hours at the beach club. So it's more than I thought, actually. So you get pretty much half the day there to enjoy it. Enjoy the beach. You get exclusive, all-inclusive experience featuring Greek dining, complimentary soft drinks and local draft beer, plus amenities like the beachfront with umbrellas, lounges and Wi-Fi is included as well. Then they take you from the beach club up to Fira, which is the main part that everyone goes to on cruise excursions, because that's where the cable cars drop you off to, basically. So you get to do that then. And then they take you to Athenios port, which I've never heard of. I don't know where that one is, but basically they take you to Athenios port, where you'll be dropped off with plenty of time to board your cruise ship. So from what I understand, you don't do the cable cars at all, which... bonus. But yeah, so when you're at the beach club, your soft drinks, at least anyway, and it looks like local beer and wine possibly could be included, plus Wi-Fi as well. So I think that's really cool that you get kind of all that as well. It's not cheap. Like I say, £150 isn't cheap, but
I am tempted.
We paid something like €30, I think it was, or €25 each to do the boat tour that we did, which was just the boat. The rest we had to do ourselves type of thing. So in perspective.
Oh, so it's all-inclusive experience featuring Greek dining, complimentary soft drinks, wine and local draft beer. By the time you get off and have lunch in Santorini, that's $200.
Well, it's not as expensive as it seems. Don't get me wrong. £300 for a couple is a lot of money. We're not saying it's like pocket change, but as you say, by the time, if you want to avoid the cable cars anyway, if you're not like, it's just obviously it's all subjective of what you value. But for someone like me, I will never do the cable car again if I can avoid it, type of thing. So I will pay for the boat. The boat's going to be €40 to €50 for the two of us. That's before, like you say, then you do anything when you're there. Then we bought coffees, we bought lunch, we bought ice cream, we bought a lot, and we're quite frugal, but we must have easily spent about €100 for the two of us for that day. And we had to do the cable car coming down type of thing and all that faff. And you're getting a little bit more money to have a bit of a semi-private beach club where it's all covered off for you, all sorted. Royal sort out the logistics for you. Definitely, if we were going back, I would pay for this. There's, without a shadow of a doubt, if I was back on board and I had this opportunity, I would do it.
Oh, I'm really tempted. I bet I end up booking it. I bet I do. Yeah, I'll have to stay on in Turkey. I always like to just schedule in a on the ship day.
Yeah, I think we're going to on our legend sailing in October. I can't remember which port we've decided, but it's one we've done before. Rome. Civitavecchia.
Rome. It's just a pain to get to, isn't it? Do you know what I'm really looking forward to, though, about going on Odyssey, is that we're going out of Rome, which I did say, it's a bit of a pain. I want to go on, I really wanted to go on Harmony and go out of Barcelona. But I'm really excited now because I've put my foot down. I am not getting a train. We're going to get a car transfer from Rome to the port. But I'm really looking forward to spending 2 nights in Rome. We're going to do the Trevi Fountain tour that goes underneath into the tunnels.
Really nice. And this
and
is the thing.
I think, obviously.
As a turnaround port, it is more expensive than Barcelona, which is why we don't recommend it instinctively to say to people, because you can embark Legend in Barcelona or Rome. So we instinctively tell people Barcelona because it's just cheaper. We have a lot more flights, it's easier to get to. However, there's no denying that being able to board in Rome and have that pre-cruise, post-cruise stay as well is incredible. It's just Civitavecchia is a good hour away from Rome. So it's that whole Rome brackets actually in Civitavecchia, miles away from everything. And that's more what it is. And for a turnaround day on a port excursion, you can do it. We would have, if the trains hadn't have failed, we would have been perfectly fine. We would have had a lovely day in Rome exploring type of thing. It's just, you're a long way away from the cruise if things go wrong. And that's the concern with it. That's why I jokingly being triggered because I had a bad experience where the trains did fail for 3 hours trying to get back.
No, I totally get it. And because we're going out of Rome on Odyssey. So that's when we thought we'll take our opportunity and spend a couple of days there before. And when we go on Legend, that will be our unofficial sea day.
I think because we're doing it 2 years in a row at the moment anyway, at least as far as Phil doesn't know. But I think for when me and Phil go, because we're going on as a bit of a content trip, I think that will be the skip day for us. But I think maybe when we go together in May, I think there's another, I need to find the information out, but there's another area that's really nice to go to that's about 30 minutes away from port.
Right.
So I can try and dig the details out from that maybe, and maybe that's what I'll do the second year, just to maybe see something a little bit closer to recommend to people of if you're not brave enough to risk going into Rome, here's one that's 20 odd minutes away from it type of thing. So I can't remember the details. Another travel agent said to me, there's a really lovely town between the two that's really nice bit of shopping, food, culture type of thing without the hassle. And it's on the train line. It's a 20-minute taxi. So I'm going to dig out the details, and I think the second year, that's why I'm glad I get the chance to go on again, because as you say, there's always somewhere new to go and explore. You don't have to do the headlines. There's lots of other places to explore.
And the other thing I think that the Americans are very good at, and that we're not as good at because we don't really travel that far, but is that it's got such a great train network that actually you don't even, like, if you was going out of Rome, out of Cicciavecchia, you don't have to go and stay in Rome, or you can do Pisa and come across the country in train. It's all doable. It's a really easy country to get around, so you can do a bit of a tour before you get on a ship. And I'm definitely going to be a bit braver and do a bit more of that going forward.
Yeah, definitely. Same. I want to get to, because again, I think on that same sailing, Cinque Terre as well is just, we're docked better for it than we were with Virgin. So that's one we're going to try and get to as well on that sailing.
If you want to get the ferry, but you've got to go to really Rio Maggiore to get the first one, you just walk along. You just walk along to the ferry or you get in a taxi and go to the train station. It's a lot quicker. But we loved doing that ferry. Next time we'll do the train and go to the Manarola, is it the furthest one?
Failed 3 times I've been near and never made it once, because the one time Phil was ill, the second time we did an excursion to Santa Margherita, which was lovely. I loved it. It was great, but it wasn't Cinque Terre. Third time I went, we got rained out, we skipped the port. So the universe does not want me going to Cinque Terre, but I'm determined. I've got 2 cruises booked that I go in there next year and the year after. I'm determined I'm going to get there.
Well, next year I think it's for me, my big hit, Naples. There's 2 places I really want to go. One's Capri, and I can't remember the name of the other one. There's another Italian. Let's have a look. I've done
which
Sorrento.
Cruise is this? Is this your Odyssey one?
Yeah. So out of Naples, so you can go to Capri. Right, ferry. Procida. Look up Procida.
Really?
Oh my goodness. It is, honest to God, it looks stunning. I mean, Sorrento was incredible, and that's the thing about, that's just 3 places you can go by ferry from Naples, and that's without Pompeii. We've still never done the catacombs, so that's on the list. There's so many things to do. We've never done the castle. It's this, when people say the same old itinerary, oh no.
Yeah, do you get what I mean? I think
Look at it differently.
You were not taking the mick, but you were picking on me a little bit, because I was a bit like, I'm really worried about doing Legend again because of the exact same ports I'm doing literally 6 months before. And then I was like, but I've done Virgin Voyages, the same itinerary 4 times in 3 years. So I think I'll be fine. And I've always found new things to do, and there's still things I want to do. So I'm sure I'll survive. Like, it'll be great. This, as you say, there's so much that we can see and do in these ports. So I am looking forward to it now. And being on such an incredible ship like a Legend.
Yeah.
I think I'll survive.
I can't wait to go back to Barcelona. I want to do all of the Gaudi houses. I'm
maybe
my way
if you become the tour guide, I may actually see some of Barcelona then. Maybe
I say you will see stuff because I'm there.
Literally,
one of my friends said, he said, I love going on holiday with you. He said, because you just turn up.
Yeah, literally, like
right, I've got a list.
Even for October, like after the disaster of last year where we went and we missed everything in Barcelona down to poor planning on my part, we still said, like, no, we'll just fly on the day before. We won't see anything. We'll just fly. So again, doing the same thing again. Just going to go in for a fleeting visit, pre-cruise. Just because the Legend sailing in October for us anyway is definitely about the ship type of thing. So we're not planning to stop over Barcelona at the moment.
Do you know what, though? Are you staying the night before?
Yeah, the night before, but I think it'll be a late afternoon flight.
Do a food tour.
Well, we signed them up as a company now. That tour company you recommended, we've signed them up as a contract now.
Have you?
Yeah.
They're brilliant. What are they called again? Walks.
I know.
Walks and Devour. Yeah, Walks and Devour.
Yes.
And do the food tour. When we did, and anybody that goes to Barcelona, Walks and Devour are the same company. So Devour is food and Walks is obviously walking. So we did the Segregado tour. That was good. In October, we did the Casa Batio, but we did a food tour around the Gothic Quarter. Stay in the Gothic Quarter and do a food tour. Where did we stay? We stayed it was right in the middle of the Gothic Quarter.
Yeah.
And we'd literally come out of a hotel, went around the corner and met Luke, our guide, and he was phenomenal. And he took us, it was that there was, I think there was 12 people. There was like Americans, Australians, all different walks of life, from all Irish. And we had such a good time with them. And we did it again when we went to Lisbon. And they're just brilliant. You should definitely do it. And I remember we'd been up since 2 a.m. We'd flown in. We were exhausted. I was laid on the bed. We'd done the Sagre Garden. We'd walked there and back, done the tour, been out for paella. And we got back to the hotel and I said, I'm just broken. I can't go out for dinner. My feet were agony. And we hobbled round and had the best night. It was just, I'm so glad I went. It's brilliant. And you try stuff you wouldn't usually try.
I'm becoming more, I used to be very much like, I'm not a fan of touring. I don't want a guide. I'm very independent type of thing. I don't know whether it's because I've just got older or I've got busier, and maybe that's the whole thing, trajectory of life that takes you there type of thing. But the more and more in the industry that I get invited to things like this and we have a tour guide, the more I'm loving it. Like the China thing where we had a tour guide from Wendy Wu. I learned so much about Shanghai that I wouldn't have learned if I didn't have somebody just pointing things out. And we're talking small observations, but I wouldn't have learned the history of, Shanghai and the culture and all that type of stuff. And it's just great to have someone just enrich your journey type of thing. Google's great, but nobody brings it to life more than somebody who lives and breathes it. So I'm becoming around type of thing to all these. It's worth paying to have these tour guides and these experiences because, it's great to do it on a budget and see things yourself. But every now and then, definitely don't be afraid to treat yourself and get a tour guide and do a little, city tour or something like that, because you learn so much more.
And they're not all mega expensive, are they? And I think the beauty of having a guide is they're so passionate and they love what they're doing and they know the history and they infuse it. I said to Luke when we did that tour of Barcelona, Luke from Devour Tours, he was amazing. And he was South African, but lived in Barcelona, had lived there for years. Yeah. And I said to him, if you were my history teacher, I'd probably be a historian. Because he was just so interesting, engaging. He told us about Franco and he told us about when Hemingway went to Spain, and it was just like we were following him just for the next bit of information between the bars. He was brilliant.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's something we're going to do more of. I think probably not for next year's Barcelona cruise, but probably for the May one with you. If you don't organise something, we probably will as well, type of thing. But we've got time before then. Just quickly then, because we've got 3 other ships, sailing in Europe, and we've talked about the headlines. I know. We've talked about the headlines, and that's the thing, like being candid from a sales perspective, from European travellers, at least anyway, they're going to be the 3 main ships that people are going to be looking forward to. If you go on Royal Caribbean's website, they will be the 3 ships you will see advertised on Royal Caribbean UK, just because they know from statistically thinking and looking at the history, they're the ships that British people will be interested in. However, there are 3 other ships as well sailing in Europe. They are older ships and they are smaller ships. They call them kind of like the Explorer series of ships. So I'm not going to dwell on these too much, but they are interesting and worth talking about because you were almost booked on one of these, weren't you? So Explorer of the Seas is back again.
Twice. I think I am not meant to go on that ship. I
didn't want to trigger you and bring it up.
I think the gods are saying, do not go on that ship. I think for whatever reason, I'm not meant to go on it. So I'm listening to the gods.
But
maybe
again,
I'm going to fall off.
I know she is a well-loved ship as well, though. So she is equally.
She is.
She's doing all sorts type of thing. And I think this is why she does so well. So there's 2 sides of Royal Caribbean's marketing arm. You've got the arm that love kind of the ship experience, and they're all about the new, big, larger than life type of thing experiences. And then they also have these range of ships that they kind of put in this loose category of explorer ships that don't get talked about as much, but they're the ships that if you're a port fan, if you love kind of the going off and exploring kind of destination, these are going to be where you're going to find them in the Royal Caribbean fleet, at least anyway. And Explorer is leading that for Europe. She's probably the one you want to look at more than the others, depending on region type of thing. But she is home porting again. So I'm reading from the fact sheet we've got. But she's going to do Ravenna, Barcelona, Athens, and Rome. Now, Athens is probably going to be Piraeus. Like, there's no port in Athens. It is Piraeus. But again, it's 30 minutes-ish away, 35 minutes away. So again, great port. And she's going to be going to places again like Santorini, Mykonos. So again, great. But my favorite region that I can't wait to get back to, and I'm going to be doing it again as well, she's going to Split. She's doing Sadar. She's also going to Bar in Montenegro. Now, I've never heard of Bar, but now Virgin are also doing Bar in 2027 as well. So there must be a reason why. Maybe Kotor is reducing the number of people that can go into Kotor, but Bar's coming up a couple of times. She's doing the Amalfi Coast. She's doing Sicily. She's doing Rhodes. So again, these are really, really great ports. So if you're somebody who wants destination and ship is kind of like your way to get to there, then Explorer of the Seas, and equally as well, then the next ship is Brilliance of the Seas as well, year round from Ravenna in Italy. Pain in the bum to get to, as you know, to get to Ravenna, the port type of thing. But again, great access to incredible ports again. So this one's doing Dubrovnik, she's doing Rhodes, she's doing Mykonos, Santorini. This one is doing Kotor. So again, great. And Brilliance is a much smaller ship. I'm pretty sure she's done like less than 2,000 off the top of my head. I need to probably look that up before I say that, but I'm pretty sure
she's not been done up as she, where Explorer has been renovated.
Yeah. She's very much about the ship as the vessel that gets you to the destination. Not saying she lacks features. I'm not saying that at all. She does have obviously things, you know, Royal Caribbean, great pool, great entertainment, all that type of stuff, but she's a much smaller ship, and that's why they put her on these really exciting ports and itineraries, you know, because it's more about the destination, and the ship is, they know the ship's smaller, more intimate, but they're for those people that love that smaller ship, at least anyway, experience. And then just lastly, touching upon the last ship in the fleet then as well in Europe is I can never say this, Rhapsody of the Seas. I can never say it. So my brain can't process the word fast enough. Year round from Athens as well then, or season round I should say. So from May till November, she's sailing from Athens, and again doing a lot of that kind of Greek Isles, the Adriatic coast, that type of thing. So Rhodes, doing Chania, she's doing Istanbul, Bodrum, she's going to Turkey again, so Kusadasi, Limassol and Alexandria as well, which is a really cool one. And this is doing slightly longer itinerary, 7, 8 and 11 night sailings on board Rhapsody as well. Again, it's more for the kind of what I would call the more traditional cruise fan. They want that more time at sea. They want that kind of longer, more port enriching experience, but still with that Royal Caribbean hug as well. So you've got those 3 ships. I say probably Explorer would be more on the radar of people who are more modern Royal Cruise fans, but still want ports. But equally, if you're somebody who still wants that great port experience, then you've got those 2 other ships as well, Rhapsody and Brilliance.
Alexandria, that's one of the oldest cruise ship ports in the world. I think it's the top 10. So it's stuff like that. And I suppose that they just can't send the big ships into some of these ports, can they? They just can't. And rightly so.
It's a shame that these ships get overlooked because they are, you know, at the older end of the fleet type of thing. They haven't been as renovated as often. There's only so much they can do with the ships type of thing. But it's about ports. It is about ports. If you are somebody who wants to stay loyal to Royal and you want to stay in the Royal family, but you still want to go to really great not off the beaten paths, they're not as well travelled in modern contemporary cruising. I think, you know, there's still hundreds of ships that will go to these ports, but the new modern multi-gen larger ships won't go to these ports type of thing. But you still want to do that in Royal Caribbean, and the prices are really good as well because they are smaller ships and they're not as headline ships as well. So you can get some fantastic rates on these ships as well. And so it's what I think what I'm going to get across is don't just pigeonhole Royal Caribbean into large floating resort ships. They do that better than anybody in the industry, but they also have these smaller ships as well that go off and do the port and the great itineraries as well.
I do think Royal's got a very hardcore small ship audience that
100%.
Won't do the big ships.
Yeah.
So that, you know, they're catering for both markets, aren't they, really? And so that, you know, there's something for everybody, and that's what I love about them as a brand. I'm just like a bit of a stalker, aren't I?
Well, I've just slowly
bit by bit to stalk.
I've bit by bit though becoming around them because equally I was very much like I dismissed them myself, and that's why I bring it up. I dismissed them as the kind of floating resort ship, and I love that. I love them for that reason. I want more water parks. I want virtual reality. I want bumper cars. I want all that stuff. But then as I'm cruising more as well, though, there's also part of me that's like, yeah, but every now and then I want to go off and explore some small town and go off and get, you know, those kind of off the beaten path ports as well. And there are 2 sides of me. And I think the more I cruise, the more that second side starts to come out now, whereby I'm not as bothered by the ship having the latest state of the art features, this, that, and the other. I sometimes want to go away, have a more relaxed, slower pace, more intimate, where you are more likely to bump into people every day because you're on a smaller ship. You're going to intermingle in the same venues more because you're not in one of 17 dining options type of thing. You're in one of 3, 4 type of thing. So you've got a higher chance of bumping into people and making friends, which is what, for some of the old school crews, that's what they love. They love that smaller ship experience where they're more likely to bump into people they know.
And that there's just a part of me for that reason that is really curious to try celebrities river cruise. Really curious to go the complete other way and just try that, because it's just nice to have best of both worlds, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's got a rapid launch as well now. So they've obviously just announced the 2 ships, I believe it is, or is it 4? I can't remember. Sold out within like 24 hours, so very popular.
Wow.
But they're announcing they're getting ready to drop the next batch of fleets, next batch of ships as well, very soon type of thing. So Celebrity are coming in big for their
I bet
product.
The other river cruise lines are like, "Ugh," unless they're bringing up across a whole new market. Maybe they are.
That's the theory. The general chatter I've heard is it's converted people who maybe haven't tried River to try River because they trust Celebrity. So I don't think it's hit too much into the other cruise lines market. But obviously, I think they've got plans for 12 ships, is it? Maybe 14? That's a lot of ships to bring to the market. The thing as well, though, and we've talked about it before, but River is each ship is small. Like I think they're around about the 150, 160-ish territory. Some as small as 120, some up to like the 180. So it's not as if thousands of people are converting and going from Celebrity to these River ships. They need a lot of ships to replace just one of the Edge series ships. I think even with all 12, 14 ships sailing, that would be one 7-night sailing on board, maybe, an Edge series ship type of thing. So it's all proportional.
And I think Emma's hard to beat, so we will see.
So have you got any kind of lasting thoughts? I know obviously we are booked to do Legends. I think that's obviously one we're definitely looking forward to. And I'm sure by the end of next year, people will be sick of us talking about Legend of the Seas because we'll have a lot of conversations about it soon. But obviously that's the one we're excited about. I do think it's a shame that Canada Mariner's launch was overshadowed by people being disappointed, I think, in their expectations of what was going to come to Europe. But I do think you've been on board. She's an incredible ship. And I think, she's one that people shouldn't sleep on type of thing. But have you got any thoughts on the 27 deployment?
No, I just think it's very exciting. I mean, I don't like cruising out of Southampton, so I know that Southampton's got a core audience that like to go out of Southampton for ease. I like to go out of Barcelona. Yeah. If she was going out of Barcelona, I definitely would have considered booking her. But I just think, there's some really, really exciting itineraries. There's so much to be excited, and those 3 ships are also different and also different on price point as well.
100%, yeah.
So it's something for everybody.
Yeah, well, I did a family of 4, 7-night sailing, granted inside cabin, but it was about £2,000 for a family of 4, just over £2,000 for a 7-night sailing. So that was it. Quickly, sorry, because we're almost up to an hour, but quickly, just to stress, and we touched upon it in this episode, but the sooner you get in, the better the price you're going to get. I know there's this big, big thing, cost of living crisis, and everyone's believing that nobody's booking cruises. I promise you they are, and they're booking further out than ever before. I booked my Legend of the Sea. Yeah, you are, and both of us. And it's based on the first-hand experience, isn't it? I sell this every single day for a living. I watch the prices quite frequently. I booked my Legend of the Sea sailing the day after it came out on sale for my sailing next year. The price has doubled since I booked it. So, and we're all hoping it's going to happen, but we're pretty confident that our sailing for 2027, the price we paid is not the price people will be paying if they book it the year off. If they book it in January wave season for 2027 sailings, the price will be a lot different than if they were to book now. I know you don't know what you're going to be doing in 2 years' time, but the price, you'll be grateful you did when you see the prices.
I always feel like I don't know what I'm doing in 2 years' time, but cruising. That's the only thing I know what I'm doing. And my friend said the other day, she went, "You do like to get your cruises booked early?" And I said, "Yeah, but if you look at the one next year, that's gone up by 50%. That's a massive saving." And every time my drinks package, I booked it at $78, and then it came out at 46.
I say I'm weeping. I didn't. You messaged me and I was like, "Oh, it's bad timing. Bad timing." I just
cancelled, rebooked. And then that pays for other activities on the ship, which I booked straight away. So, but I think if you book in advance, you definitely save. Definitely. And I've done that since our kids were little.
And that's not to say like along the way, the price may go down, may go up type of thing. That's not to say along the way, but I think definitely from when you book until when you sail, you're going to win. I think definitely with Royal, definitely with Legend, with Odyssey of the Seas. I've seen it year after year now. I've been doing this 6 years now and I watch these prices quite a lot. I'm in the system every week looking at prices. I can confidently say, definitely for at least those 2 ships, you're not going to panic. You're not going to feel like you've missed out if you book now and wait for a last-minute deal. The last-minute deal market came about and the late market, as we call it, came about aggressively because of COVID. People weren't booking cruises, so the cruise lines were panicking and they were dropping the prices to get people on board. We're no longer in that territory, especially when it comes to headline ships like brand new launching ships. The demand is definitely there and people are booking up earlier than ever. So if you are interested in Legend, I'm going to stress this time and time again to you, book sooner rather than later. Same with Icon, same with Star.
This is just a prime example of that, but it's NCL. So you know that the end of next year, I cannot decide between California and Japan. And if honestly, I'd rather do Europe, but everybody else wants to do one of those two. So I can't decide. And I priced up an NCL cruise, as you know, and it was 4,200 for the Haven. That's 7 now. That's 2 months later.
If you want limited availability, as in you want those family suites, you want the interconnecting cabins, if you want suite class level, generally because there's only a handful of those available, they will go or the price will go up. One of those two things will happen guaranteed. If you are, and there's always going to be outliers, if you are a couple and you're flexible and you don't care where you stay in, by all means, wait for a last minute deal and good luck to you type of thing. You may win out, and 9 times out of 10 you will. But if you're a family, especially a family, or you're going in peak season, peak holiday windows, book early, because I promise you, you will not miss out. You will get a good deal. And especially like Legend is close to selling out already for next year. There's still availability, but Legend for next year, because she originally was only doing 3 months, those 3 on sale originally have sold incredibly well. All right, so that's the end of that caution retail anyway, but definitely I do think if you are interested in booking any of these sailings, I would definitely love to help you, and we can obviously navigate the risks and pros and cons of kind of when to book and what season you're looking to book anyway. You can find me anywhere online under magical-traveller, or all my social media is magical TRVLR. And then Sarah, I know you've obviously got your guides to the ships you have been on, which is 2 of the ships we've talked about today. Where can the guys find your content?
I will link them on the post today. But they're both on Mini Travellers, because that is where I share my reviews and real life experiences. But I've also got a lot on Cruising with Kids. So I'll find a few things and dig them out, like, things that are good about Mariner of the Seas for kids. So I've got lots of stuff like that, because I just found that it was a really great ship for families, and Odyssey. So I'll share a few below.
Other than that, guys, I hope you've enjoyed this episode, and we'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye.
Bye.